Lott really breaks it down, because this is shocking. It takes a guy with the intellect of John Lott to put it into perspective. And two things happening over DNI. Tulsi's put out a tweet. She says there's now 2 investigations going on. I'm telling you what it's about. That, I think, is about the National Intelligence Estimate, at least one of them, the investigations. The leak on that out of DNI is unacceptable, because somebody's taking a draft of a study, or a study hasn't been signed off by her and her staff, and leaking it out to chop block us in the Supreme Court, because this gets to the part of the predicate that has to be laid for the invoking of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. That's how the deep state's coming after Trump. I was gobsmacked when I saw this. John Lott, talk about this, Dean, what Tulsi has released, that Biden's intelligence apparatus, the meaning of it, and how depraved this is, sir.
Right. No, thanks. Last week, she declassified basically the Biden administration's blueprint for their war on domestic terrorism. The Biden administration in June 2021 had put out a declassified version of that to begin with. But the one that they hid was very troubling, because the thing they put out in 2021 made it look like they were just going after criminals, people who were committing crimes with regard to domestic terrorism. The one that was just declassified last week makes it very clear that they were going after non-criminals. They were looking at people simply based on their political views, whether they were using symbols like 2A for the Second Amendment, where they were using things like the Betsy Ross flag as ways of flagging people that may have views that the administration didn't like. But they did more than worry about censorship stuff. Or what they also try to do is what they'd call debanking, make it so that people couldn't go and use different financial institutions. So you have people like John Eastman, who is a lawyer, and other lawyers who were working for Trump after the 2020 election. They found that their bank accounts with Bank of America or other institutions were being closed. It's become clear that people based on their religious views or other political views were having their financial institutions closing their accounts that were there. When you had leaks come out, when whistleblowers would come out and say, look, they're spying on Catholics, or whether they're recording the license plates for people who had attended school board meetings and spoken out against some of the policies that were at the school boards, the Biden administration would go back and say, oh, we're only doing this because we're concerned about potential crimes or people who were actually involved in criminal activity. When you read what Tulsi Gabbard declassified last week, it's clear that they were looking at much more than people who were involved in criminal activity. And that, to me, is extremely concerning. It's a line that I don't think we've ever seen crossed by any administration in the past.
So what then has to happen, Lott? Well, what this thing is, if you read it, and we were deplatformed, I was debanked, President Trump was debanked, the people around him were debanked, taken off all the platforms. What then is to be done to make sure that people that did this are held accountable, number one, and number two, that it can never happen again, sir?
I mean, part of it is getting the publicity out for it. Tulsi Gabbard put out a tweet last week. Had gotten by Monday morning well over 6 million views for her tweet. There have been a few media outlets, conservative media outlets, that covered it, but even they missed the key part there, that this was being applied for non-criminal activity. The first thing you have to go and do is publicize this and make sure that people realize this. Nobody needs to take my word for it. People can go to our website at crimeresearch.org. We have a link to what Tulsi Gabbard declassified. They can go to her tweet that she put out last week. It's gotten a lot of circulation, even if the media hasn't done it. But the mainstream media, even Fox or, let alone the legacy media, hasn't covered the story at all, let alone dealing with the issue about whether they were going after people who weren't involved in any type of criminal activity.